Just before we do look at the Evil Reflection, in terms of filmmaking, because we've discussed storytelling, just very briefly about the filmmaking, The Dark Knight is an old-fashioned movie. It's shot on celluloid. It even goes as far
fair enough, he does the IMAX stuff. But
IMAX though is still film, it's still celluloid, it's just bigger cells. And I really admire that when a lot of modern filmmakers are going digital, which, fair play, it may serve some stories. I, for one, if I was a filmmaker, I can honestly say I wouldn't use digital because I like the look and texture of film.
We were saying that last night, weren't we, about...
To see like a multi-million-dollar blockbuster like this be shot on film, it's not often you see that anymore, and I really like that. And then that leads into the practical effects. There's barely any CG used in this.
I must say as well, just to agree with you, I love the fact that when you see a guy dressed in a Batman suit on a big tall roof, that's actually some poor stuntman dressed in a Batman suit on a big tall roof. That's what it is. I mean, bloody hell, one guy died, didn't they, while shooting The Dark Knight? They had to completely retool the China sequence.
Yeah. And
let people die for the entertainment of people like us.
And like that really leads into what I was saying about the CG, in that it's only ever used to touch up what's already there. Like they film a car crash sequence, they'll go in with CG and remove the cameras that were attached to the cars. That's all they do with it.
That makes sense.
And because practical effects are the only way to do action. Like, I want to see an 18-wheeler flip over in a Chicago street. I don't want to see a bunch of pixels made to look like an 18-wheeler.
No.
We've seen that. Best example for comparison, really, is Terminator 3. There is the exact same sequence in Terminator 3 that's completely CG. And
it doesn't work. There's no sense of weight behind it.
No, there was a huge budget behind that as well. Like, so that's pretty much, for the time, it was the best that they could get. And it looks ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But to have them flip in The Dark Knight a real truck over, that took my breath away.
Well, I remember I watched it with my dad, because I saw Dark Knight 3 times, and my dad went, "Is that a computer thing?" And I'm like, I don't think so. I think they've actually done it. Because the sequence it had weight. The whole thing is CG for me is supposed to be there to augment a shot. Not completely create a shot, and I think it's overused. I mean, for me, the massive overuse of CG began Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace, I sat there and just went, I can't relate to what I'm seeing.
There was nothing to grab onto, was there? No. It was all when I'm watching the CG heavy film, I find myself distanced from it because it doesn't resemble my reality.
Although, having said that, just to give the car, I will say there's one thing where they got a completely CG rendered character perfect. Gollum. Gollum's perfect. But because the central performance, they put a guy in a suit, and his central performance is so good, Andy Serkis, that you buy it. That you buy it. Because there's still weight there. There's still some kind of presence.
And I do want to say, in that respect, that there is a healthy balance between CG and practical. First of all, I think the best CG I've seen in recent memory that springs to mind is District 9.
That was good.
They used it right in that. They used it when they had to for the aliens, but it was done really well. I think CG now has got to that point where it's almost photorealistic. But there is a balance, and I think the best example of a filmmaker who uses that balance is Guillermo del Toro. I think that the Hellboy movies are the perfect example of how to balance practical and special effects. Like, you've got guys in suits, which have been touched up with CG, with facial expressions and stuff like that, or shit crawling on them, and it blends together really well. And Guillermo del Toro has said on the record that CG is just another tool in a filmmaker's arsenal, just the same that makeup is.
You do have other brushes that you can use, guys.
So, that's a perfect example of how to balance it. The Dark Knight is a perfect example of how to do it practically. And now we're going to move on to the Dark Knight's evil's stepbrother.
Everything that Dark Knight does right, this movie's about to do wrong.